Mr. Pachauri, how serious is the question of the melting Himalayan glaciers for you?
Well, it's very serious because of the fact that it covers an extensive area. It impacts on the lives of a very large number of people, and it has ecological consequences which are serious. So it clearly is one of the most important impacts of climate change, and we therefore have to treat it as one of the most important priority areas for action, particularly as far as adaptation to the impacts of climate change is concerned.
Why do you say adaptation in particular?
Because, you know, it's going to affect so many people that, given the reality that even if we were to stabilize the concentration of greenhouse gases at current levels, climate change will continue for a few decades, and therefore some of these impacts are going to get far more intensive. We have no choice but to adapt, and it's more important in this region simply because of the numbers of people that are going to be affected.
One of the problems is that there are no regional institutions that are addressing it. Have you seen any progress in this respect?
No, I'm afraid there's no movement in that direction. The only evidence I see, at least of an understanding of the gravity of the situation, is that leaders in that region are at least talking about the need to coordinate their policies. But in terms of action, I really haven't seen anything so far.
What sort of factors are holding this back?
I think there are two factors which hold this back. Firstly, because I'm afraid by their very nature, most governments all over the world are rather short-sighted. You know, if it's a democracy, you're really concerned about the next elections. You're not really worried about long-term problems and their solutions. If you're not a democracy, then I suppose one primary motive for most governments is just how they stay in power and keep the lid on dissent and make sure that they only deal with short-term problems rather than focus on longer-term issues. And I suppose it's also a fact that some of the governments in the region have not had very friendly relations, and that's one reason why they haven't got into a dialogue on some of these profound matters.